So you'll never guess what happened after all of these protests. The White House says they're not going to back down. Trump doubles down on deportations amid all the anti-ICE protests. Y'all like the video right here? Check this out.
President Trump saying that he will not budge on his immigration policy, asking ICE to go ahead and make operations a priority in blue sanctuary cities, posting this: "We must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. These and other such cities are the core of the Democratic power center. Leaders of those cities have vowed to resist Trump's deportation efforts, and over the weekend we saw violent protests breaking out in places like Los Angeles and elsewhere on the West Coast, protesting ICE enforcement raids." Wasn't quite sure where he was on this. On Thursday, it seemed like back off the hotel employees, back off the people working on farms. And then last night we came out with this post, which seemed to counter that. What do you think we are?
I think he's still where he was last week about not engaging in this work enforcement aggressively. Because if you read the post, he says expand in large cities, and he specifically names the cities, which don't happen to be very rural cities. When you look at his guts, he did an interview with Fox No TCS and was confronted with a man who'd been in the country 20 years, Mexican man, U.S. citizen children, saying he wanted to stay here. He was played the soundbite. His response to that was, "I look at this man, I say this is a guy we want to keep. I will probably take heat for saying it." His DHS sent out directions. There was an internal email, the New York Times reported on it, saying lay off the work enforcement. And DHS confirmed that that email was legitimate and existed. I think his gut is there. I think he wants to honor what he's told his base, but that doesn't necessarily preclude being smart in the deportation decision making.
I mean, they're trying to hit a certain number, and I think they're having a hard time hitting the number. So then you get the new push, then I guess to look at, and it's not necessarily just blue cities. It just so happens that those cities are ruled by Democrats, and they have been for years.
That's right. And we know Stephen Miller, there was reporting he wanted it to be 3,000 a day that are deported. DHS aggressively expanded their efforts. They were hitting the 2,000 mark. So there is this push-pull. And then the reporting that Brooke Rollins, the U.S. Ag Secretary, came to him and said, hey, you've got to lay off. You know, we've got to also make good with our farmers. So there's this tension. I think it's very evident. It's shown in the reporting. But I think he's going to ultimately come down on the side of reason, which, by the way, polling shows 70% of people want some immigrants deported, but want to make room for those who are contributing to society.